Hi, Shane Simpson. I'm back with Thursday Thoughts. Today we're going to talk about not only one of my favorite drummers, but one of the, if not considered the greatest drummer of all time, and that's Buddy Rich. As a child, I remember staying up late whenever I saw on the TV guide that Buddy Rich was going to be on the Carson Show, just to watch him. Now, you have to understand, back in the day, we didn't have access to YouTube and the internet. None of that existed. And there were 3 TV stations, 4 if you were lucky. You basically had NBC, CBS, and ABC. Sometimes you could get a UHF station or a PBS thing or something, but that's all you had. So our exposure to the great music and great musicians was either TV appearances or you went out and bought the albums. And of course, eventually that's what I did. My first teacher, Chuck Simons, talked about Buddy Rich a lot, and just basically about his hand ability. And he got me turned on to Buddy Rich, and so I started, trying to get recordings and, back in the day, buy the albums. You didn't really get singles of jazz stuff like that. And just became a huge fan of certain albums. Big Swing Face, I'm drawing a blank, I think it's called The One, and then of course the Roar of '74 with Nutville on it. And eventually I just got the entire Buddy Rich catalog and tried to steal as many licks as I could. Obviously, not being able to hear them, I was just trying to copy licks. I had no idea what the sticking was. I can remember putting the albums on 33 and turning it down to 17, because the old record players used to have 4 speeds. And an album was a 33 and a third RPM, so you could turn it down to 17 and it would slow it down. It sounded funny, but you could kind of hear what some of the fast licks were just to figure them out. But needless to say, Buddy Rich is definitely one of the top drummers in the world of all time, one of my favorites of all time. And he is a leader and a soloist, and that was his thing. He knew how to drive a band, kick a band, but when he soloed, he just had this incredible speed and this flawless execution between singles and doubles, and what's called a push-pull technique, which I can't really do. A lot of drummers can do it out there very well, but it's not something I perfected. But I tried to copy that kind of stuff, and over time, through mostly community big bands or sitting in with other things as a guest artist, I was able to play a large portion of the Buddy Rich catalog, especially some of the featured pieces like Channel One Suite or West Side Story or Porgy and Bess and Nutville, Time Check, a lot of those that had a lot of big drum solos in them. I got a chance to play those. So anyway, Buddy just had this ability that I just can't explain it, but he just made everything look effortless other than his sweating. But he had fast crossing and all that kind of stuff. So it's things that eventually I actually saw him live. And I tried to copy certain things. When I was in 7th grade, the very day my mom called and said, "Hey, ride your bike up to Chuck's Music Center and pick out your new drum set," I was just floored. And so I traded in my old set and picked up a new 5-piece kit, Premier. And that night, Buddy Rich was in concert at Lovett Auditorium at Murray State University. And I sat on the front row. One of my best friends of all time, Kevin Albritton, and he was there with me. We sat on the front row of the concert, and I wore binoculars. And I can remember them coming out and hammering a nail through the bass drum hoop to keep his bass drum from moving. And so, of course, I was floored by the concert because I was just in awe of Buddy Rich, and I sat there with my binoculars trying to watch his hands and everything I could. I remember being so hurt and shocked that at the end of the thing, he threw some drumsticks out, and Kevin beat me to it. So Kevin got a pair of at least one stick of Buddy Rich's at some point. But I got the solo with Louis Bellson eventually, so I guess I got my karma back. But anyway, Buddy is in a league all by himself as far as I'm concerned. And for those who don't like him, I don't know why you wouldn't. And for those who do, he set a bar for everybody to reach to. And it's not that other people haven't been able to get up to that level. But to me, when push comes to shove, Buddy always seemed to top. If it was Gene Krupa, Buddy would elevate himself to a higher level. Louis Bellson, Buddy would elevate himself to a higher level. So he's always had that ability. And other people that I know that share a love of Buddy Rich. It's great to sit down and chat with him and talk with him. Another friend of mine, John Dietrich, another fantastic, amazing drummer and singer for the band Restless Heart, is a huge Buddy Rich fan. And we've, back in the day, before we could get access to stuff, we used to buy the videotapes and stuff. And, you know, when I would go visit, sometimes I'd try to hook up with him and we'd sit and watch Buddy recordings and just talk about how amazing it was and stuff. And of course, now that YouTube's out there, you know, there's a ton of stuff, all the Carson Show things, everything. And I remember when DCI Music Video released the Buddy Rich scholarship concerts and the Best of Buddy Rich tapes. There's a clip on the Buddy Rich scholarship concert, at least the first tape, that has Greg Bissonette, Dennis Chambers, and Louis Bellson on it. There's a black and white clip of Buddy from, I think, 1966 or something. One of the most amazing solos I've seen. If I can find a YouTube link on that, I'll put it in the comments. But unbelievable drummer, to me, often imitated, never duplicated, and I certainly tried to imitate. And even in some of the situations that I played, tried to at least include little snippets of things that I've stolen from Buddy Rich in tribute, I guess you would say. So if I had to play a Buddy Rich thing, I would copy certain things that I saw him do. So anyway, Buddy Rich, definitely, actually at this point, one of my top 3 drummers of all time. Doesn't mean that he's not the best. It means that I like some other drummers for some other reasons. But Buddy is one of my top 3, top 5 easily, but probably number 1. So anyway, if you don't have a chance to, or if you do have a chance to, excuse me, find some Buddy Rich stuff and check it out. If it's not your thing, at least watch some of the solo stuff. And, you know, I know a lot of it is on the snare drum, and he did some crossovers and stuff like that. But, you know, it's not because he couldn't do things. That's just what he was, you know. So there's a great clip of Buddy Rich doing a drum thing with Animal from the Muppets that I think 1,000 people have probably sent me that link before, even though I've seen it and it's part of Buddy Rich tapes. Anyway, there's a bunch of stuff out there. I suggest everybody get it. Get some recordings. If you're playing jazz big band, get the Big Swing Face. Is one of the best swinging albums, and I mean, by now there's some Best of Buddy Rich things you can get, and you can get the staple pieces of Channel One Sweet West Side Story and stuff like that. But Big Swing Face just has some great feel, groove and stuff on it too. And the Roar of '74 is another one I really like. So anyway, Buddy Rich, hero of mine, on the wall. Unfortunately, you can't see it. It's right over there. But one of my favorites will always be.